Hello, it's Anne. When I came to France thinking I was going to learn how to live differently, I expected to discover new culture, new food, and a new way of life. What I didn't expect was that France would teach me some of the hardest lessons about trust, patience, safety, slowing down, and what actually makes a beautiful life. My journey began in Madrid, Spain, where I started the next chapter of my life before arriving in Perpignan. Prior to arriving, I found an apartment I fell in love with. I visited upon my arrival and rented it on the spot. I trusted the landlord, paid my deposit, and even paid for advanced utilities. Unfortunately, that trust became one of my first difficult lessons living in France. My landlord later decided to keep my deposit without justification, and I'm still fighting to get it returned. This experience taught me something important. Even in a country you love, you still have to protect yourself and understand the systems around you. Lesson number one, trust but protect yourself. One of the biggest lessons I learned is that things don't always work the way you expect them to. I learned this through my experience with European banking. After being robbed and defrauded, I discovered that having insurance through a bank does not always mean the process will be simple. Sometimes you have to fight to have the protections you were promised honored. I'm currently working through the process of getting my case reviewed via KIFID and taking the necessary steps through the European financials to get the bank to honor their insurance obligations. The lesson: France is not like the USA, where the money would have been refunded in a timely manner. I've been fighting since May. And if you want to know the name of the bank, it's called Bunk Bank. They're in the Netherlands, BUNQ. Do not use this bank. They're crooked. I have a video that I'll link to this at the end if you want to see what happened. Lesson number two, learning to slow down. One of the greatest gifts France gave me was learning how to slow down. My mornings became completely different. Instead of rushing through the day, I would take a quick moment to freshen up, and I would grab my dog Sunday and go for a long walk. Those walks became one of my favorite parts of living in France. We would walk through the city, pick up fresh produce for the day or for the next couple of days, and stop at our favorite bakeries to order a baguette. I learned to always specify la baguette de tradition in order to avoid the slightly cheaper, mass-produced, lower quality version. Life became much less about rushing from one task to another and more about enjoying simple moments. My favorite mornings were Sunday mornings. I frequently went out for a pastry and sat by the canal in order to enjoy it. I would tie Sunday to my chair and feast my senses on all of the beauty around me while I enjoyed my fresh pastry. Lesson number three, France runs on its own schedule. One thing I quickly learned is that businesses in France do not always operate the way I was used to. Stores and restaurants often have their own schedules. Many businesses are closed both Sunday and Monday, and some close during the middle of the week. Many even close for the entire month of August for vacation. I learned very quickly to check Google before walking somewhere because many times I would arrive at a bakery or a shop only to find it closed. Instead of getting frustrated, I learned to adapt. Sometimes the journey becomes part of the experience. Lesson number four, safety looks different in France. Before moving to France, I had certain ideas about safety. What surprised me was that I felt much less concerned about violent crime because guns are far less common in France. The only time I saw firearms was with the French military personnel who would patrol with machine guns across their chests. It was intimidating to see, but it was also a reminder that safety concerns can look different from country to country. At the same time, I learned that petty crime and pickpocketing are things you need to take seriously. I learned to carry a crossbody bag, to keep an eye on my belongings at all times, be aware in crowded areas, and to protect my cards and personal information. The lesson? After getting robbed at the Perpignan train station, I learned robbery can happen multiple ways and to stay alert, especially in touristy and or crowded areas. Lesson number five, how the French approach food. One of the biggest changes was learning that food is not just something you consume, it is a part of life. I learned to go out for lunch instead of dinner because it was often more affordable. Ordering the lunch menu was one of the best ways to experience restaurants without spending as much. I also learned that the best fruits and vegetables often come from local markets rather than supermarkets. At the markets, you can buy directly from the farmers and choose your produce based on quality, season, and freshness. Lesson number 6, the art of choosing French produce. I learned that selecting fruit is an experience. For example, choosing strawberries is not just about appearance. The smell matters. A good strawberry should have that beautiful perfume like fragrance. So before you buy any, be sure and take a good sniff. I learned that strawberries should not have any green around the top because that means they're picked before they are fully ripe, which affects the flavor and texture. Watch out for Spanish imports. The fruit might look good, but oftentimes the quality is much lower, less flavor, sometimes hidden spoilage, and likely less nutrition due to picking too early to make time for the importing process. Lesson number 7, learning French food traditions. I learned things I never expected to learn, like how to properly eat oysters. Before France, I enjoyed oysters quite often, but little did I know I was eating them incorrectly. I once made a video about the French and oysters. My wonderful, helpful viewers were kind to point out I was doing it wrong. I adjusted and loved the French way, except the lemon. I'm sorry to my French friends, I have to keep the mignonette sauce. After experiencing French food culture, I learned that food is about appreciating ingredients, the tradition, and the moment. Lesson 8, less can be more. Smaller spaces, smaller refrigerators, fewer possessions. But often more walking, more connection, more time outdoors, more appreciation for quality. I love walking to my destination and enjoying the sights, the smells, and picking up exactly what I need for the day or the next day and no more. It beats getting in a car twice a week, risking your life on the road, only to buy overpriced and low quality food. And that's what we have in the United States. Lesson 9, the beauty of everyday life. The biggest lesson France taught me is that a beautiful life is often built from small moments. It is walking to the market, carrying home a fresh and warm baguette, knowing your favorite bakery, talking with local vendors, sitting outside and watching life happen. I came to France thinking the big moments would be the ones I remembered. Instead, it was the little daily rituals that became the most meaningful to me. My final thoughts on this is France was not perfect. I experienced challenges I never expected. I learned lessons about trust, bureaucracy, safety, and starting over. But I also learned that moving to another country is not about recreating your old life somewhere else. It's about allowing a new place to change you. France taught me patience. It taught me appreciation. It taught me how to slow down. And the biggest lesson of all is that sometimes the life you are searching for is found in the smallest moments. Thanks for watching. I'm sending much love to you all from the United States. See you next time.